stomach. He flittered down onto a rock. A tiny school of fish headed downstream in a creek, too fishy for lunch. A squiggly earthworm squirmed in the mud before him, too mushy for a snack. Miguel sighed. If he if he didn't find something to eat soon, he'd have no energy to help Mary find the secret garden. He flew up and away when he noticed a large patch of land lined in rows and rows of vining plants. As he landed in the field, a sweet scent wafted through the air. It was a vineyard full of plump purple grapes, just right for a lunch. He pecked and pecked away the fruit, which restored a bit of the body's energy with each morsel he ate. Amid the feast, Miguel heard a strange sound. It was soft like a flute, but lighter, almost like trees blowing in the breeze. A boy with rosy cheeks walked up to him, flute his hand. "Hello, fair Robin." Several squirrels and small rabbits peeked out of the pocket on his worn jacket. A little red fox followed at his heels. This must be Mary's friend, Dickon. He had a knack for talking with animals. Surely he could help Miguel. "I need to find Mary," Miguel chirped. "Slow down. I don't speak Robin very well." Dixon chuckled as he sat down on a stump. The fox hopped on his lap. "I need to find a girl named Mary." Miguel tried to speak clearly, but he knew that each word was merely bird chatter. "Mary, Mary, Mary." His words spilled out like a bird alarm. Tuk, 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 tuk. Robin's talk was indecipherable. Miguel stared at Dixon, willing him to understand his request, but instead the dark eyes of the fox stared back. Miguel froze, quickly realizing that he was the perfect size for a tasty treat. "Tell me again, Robin," Dixon said. But before Miguel could utter one little chirp, the fox's eyes narrowed and its ears stood erect. Miguel's heart raced. He had to get out of there now. With a swivel of his head, Miguel lifted his wings. The fox lunged. "Stop!" cried Dixon. Miguel glanced back. He flapped his wings, but found it difficult to fly in a panic. He ran forward, but every time he tried to lift off, the fox sped closer. For a moment, his wings seemed useless, so he hid in a hollow log. A narrow snout shoved its way in. Miguel screeched, flirting out the other side. He waddled forward, flapping his wings. His feet floated off the ground. He flapped, pump, pump, pump. Just as he began to fly, the fox swatted him down. Pain shot through his body. He hit the ground with a thud. Tried to stand, but his wings felt heavy, as though he wore an iron blanket. The eyes of the fox burned into his. Miguel's eyes fluttered. Then all went dark. Broken wing. Miguel awoke to warmth, a cozy feeling that reminded him of being tucked away in his bed at home on a rainy night. He blinked his robin eyes. As soon as things became clear, Miguel sat inside a box filled with shredded clothes. He was still alive. "Don't fret, dear Robin," Dixon stroked his wings. "You're safe." Dixon's house had a fire burning in the hearth, and herbs and dried fruit hung from hooks along the walls. And best of all, was no fox. "I do apologize for the impoliteness of my fox," Dixon said. "Sometimes natures get the best of him." Miguel's right wing ached. A constant jabbing pain was as though he'd broken his arm. How could he ever take Mary to the garden door if he couldn't even fly? "I must get Mary to the garden," Miguel chirped, lifting one wing. "It's broken," Dixon said, "but I will take care for you. Could Dixon understand him? "I must get to the garden," he chirped. Before Dixon could respond, a knock came from a small wooden door. Miguel took in a deep breath as it opened. "Mary!" Miguel chirped and hollered, and sang a chorus of Robin's song. He hopped up as he could with a broken wing and bobbed his head. I think he has a message for you, Dixon ushered Mary over to Robin. That strange bird again, she said. He behaved that way yesterday. The door to the garden, Miguel chattered. I know where it is. With all the strength he could find. He hopped out of the box and onto the table. Ever so carefully, Miguel jumped down to a chair, then onto the floor. Pain flashed through his wing. He waddled over the floor, standing there, staring forward. I think he wanted to show us something, Mary said. But he can't fly, Dixon scooped him up. No, but I've got the perfect idea, Miguel said. Follow me. Tucked away in Dixon's pocket, Miguel led them out of a small house and up path towards the manor. Like a game of hot and cold, he chirped and whistled to keep them moving in the right direction. Inside the house, they walked down endless dark mahogany hallways lined with doors. Finally, Miguel took them to the final door. It was the room of Colin, the boy who was the most neat in Secret Garden's healing pal. Miguel hopped out of Dixon's pocket and urged Dixon to open the door. From the bed, Colin stirred and sat up. Miguel climbed up into Colin's wheelchair and sang a celebratory song. Miguel knew the three would quickly become friends. Growing magic. The next day, with Colin in his wheelchair and the robin nestled in his lap, Miguel used his song to lead his friends through the pasture and down the pathway to the oaks and ivy surrounding the secret garden. Despite his broken wing, Miguel managed to flitter onto the piece of ivy near the doorknob. The door of the secret garden, Mary pulled out a key, stuck it in the lock, and turned it. Click. As they walked in, Miguel felt a tingle of energy surge through his body. Colin gasped. Mary ran in circles. Dickon laughed with joy. They had found the long-sought-after garden. However, the once beautiful garden now had vines covering everywhere, and most of the other plants seemed dry and lifeless. But Miguel knew the trio could bring it back to life. Miguel knew that because of his help, the poppies, roses, and hollyhocks would soon be in full bloom. Mary would be entertaining Colin and Dickon, and Colin would need his wheelchair less and less. Maybe Miguel's dad was right about gardens. They are places of healing. Miguel lifted off the ground and circling the garden a few times, he looked down on the three smiling kids, then shot through the clouds. Before he knew it, he was at home in a quiet loft. A lavender rose lay on the top of his chest. Back outside, Miguel's dad was still pruning all the roses. He held a bouquet full of colors, all except lavender. For the first time, Miguel found he enjoyed the sweet scent of roses. His dad looked up. Back from your break? Miguel nodded. He grabbed a shovel, slipped on his gloves, and put on his cap. This is for you, he said, handing his dad the lavender rose. Thanks. For what? For this. He waved his arm around the garden and then started working.